Beneath the rusty skies of Mars lies a mystery older than history itself. Once, long ago, rivers carved valleys, lakes shimmered in craters, and seas may have stretched across entire hemispheres. But what if Mars wasn't just a world of water and stone? What if it once cradled life intelligent enough to build, create, and perhaps vanish? For centuries, myths, science, and speculation have converged on one haunting question. Was there a lost civilization on Mars before humans ever looked to the stars? Tonight, we unravel the secrets of the Red Planet, its ancient waters, its legendary faces, its place in human mythology, and the theories that suggest Mars may not be a dead world, but a graveyard of something far greater. Welcome to Myths of the Cosmos, where the boundaries of science and speculation meet. Mars has always held a strange grip on the human imagination. To the naked eye, it appears as a faint red star wandering across the heavens. To telescopes, it reveals a world eerily familiar: mountains, valleys, and polar ice caps. And to spacecraft, it shows us landscapes shaped by rivers, oceans, and perhaps even catastrophe. But beyond science lies mystery. From ancient myths that placed Mars among the gods of war, to modern conspiracy theories about lost Martians, humanity has always seen Mars as more than just a planet. And in recent decades, new discoveries, strange structures, chemical traces, and images that spark curiosity have reignited a question once dismissed. Could Mars have hosted a civilization long before humans ever looked to the stars? Mars wasn't always the barren desert we see today. Billions of years ago, it may have been Earth's twin. Evidence from NASA's Curiosity and Perseverance rovers, along with orbiters like Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, shows signs of ancient riverbeds, deltas, and vast basins that could have held oceans. Minerals on the Martian surface suggest liquid water once flowed across the planet for millions of years. Some scientists believe Mars may have had a thick atmosphere, shielding it from radiation and creating a climate capable of supporting life. But something changed. The planet's magnetic field weakened, its atmosphere was stripped away by solar winds, and its oceans evaporated into space. And yet, that early window, when Mars was warm and wet, may have been long enough for life to emerge. The question is, did life remain simple, like microbes, or did it climb the ladder of complexity toward intelligence? Long before modern science, ancient civilizations told stories of Mars. To the Babylonians, Mars was Nergal, a god of war and destruction. To the Romans, Mars was the god of war himself, fierce and unyielding. In Hindu astrology, Mars is Mangala, a planet of energy, aggression, and destiny. The Egyptians associated Mars with Horus the Red, the god of the sky. Why did so many ancient cultures see Mars as a god of conflict and power? Was it merely the planet's red, blood-like glow? Or did their myths echo something older, something remembered? Some fringe theorists suggest ancient myths are not just symbolic, but fragmented memories, stories passed down from a time when humans or visitors looked upon Mars differently. Could myths of gods warring in the heavens actually recall events on Mars? Perhaps the most famous Martian mystery began in 1976, when NASA's Viking 1 orbiter photographed the Cydonia region. In the image was a mesa that looked uncannily like a human face. To some, it was coincidence, a trick of light and shadow. To others, it was proof of an ancient civilization, a monument staring back at Earth. Later missions with higher resolution showed the face as a natural hill, but the fascination never died. Alongside the face were other formations, pyramidal shapes, straight lines, and patterns some claimed were too geometric to be natural. Whether artifact or illusion, the face on Mars sparked decades of speculation, inspiring books, movies, and a belief that Mars holds more secrets than science admits. Mars is filled with landscapes that fuel the imagination, towers that rise like skyscrapers, valleys that stretch for thousands of miles, dwarfing the Grand Canyon, craters that resemble collapsed domes. Some researchers argue these are simply natural formations shaped by erosion and impact, but others see more. They claim certain formations align like city grids or mirror constellations in the sky, much like the pyramids of Earth. One particularly controversial theory is the idea of glass tunnels, long, reflective structures spotted in NASA images that some say look like transportation systems, while others dismiss them as dunes. Then there are recurring slope lineae, dark streaks that appear and vanish on Martian slopes. NASA calls them possible saltwater flows. Others wonder if they could be remnants of something artificial leaking from underground structures. The line between geology and architecture blurs when seen through the lens of imagination. If Mars once had oceans, rivers, and perhaps even civilizations, what happened to them? Some scientists believe Mars lost its habitability gradually as its magnetic field collapsed and its atmosphere thinned. But others suggest something more dramatic. The catastrophe hypothesis proposes that Mars suffered a planet-wide disaster, an asteroid impact, a nuclear-like explosion, or even war. Researchers like Dr. John Brandenburg controversially argue that isotopes on Mars resemble fallout from nuclear reactions, hinting at an ancient cataclysm. Could Mars have once been home to a thriving society that was destroyed in cosmic tragedy or conflict? Mainstream science disagrees, but the possibility lingers, especially when paired with myths of destroyed worlds and wars among the gods. Even if no civilization ever lived on Mars, it has lived in us. From H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds to Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles, Mars has been the stage for humanity's greatest dreams and fears. It is the archetype of the alien world, both familiar and strange. Movies show it as a home for lost civilizations. Conspiracy theories frame it as a place with hidden bases, and space agencies see it as our next frontier. In every version, Mars represents possibility, the idea that the universe is not empty, but filled with stories waiting to be told. Today, NASA's rovers crawl across the Martian surface, drilling into rocks and searching for organic molecules. SpaceX dreams of building human cities there. But what if we're not the first? What if what we find on Mars is not a place to colonize, but a place to rediscover? Imagine astronauts uncovering ruins beneath the dust, pillars, inscriptions, technologies preserved in ice. Imagine discovering that we are not pioneers on Mars, but heirs. It may be unlikely, but the thought alone transforms Mars from a dead rock into a cosmic mystery. So, was there a lost civilization on Mars before humans? Science gives us fragments, water, atmosphere, and time enough for life. Myth gives us gods and battles echoing across the skies. Speculation gives us faces, pyramids, and whispers of catastrophe. Perhaps Mars was never home to cities or beings like us, or perhaps it was, and we are only now beginning to remember. Either way, Mars reminds us of something profound. The universe is ancient, and we are newcomers. Worlds rise and fall, civilizations may vanish, and still the stars endure. Thank you for joining this exploration into the mysteries of Mars. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe to Myths of the Cosmos for more stories of cosmic wonder, ancient myths, and the speculative possibilities that shape our place in the universe. Because the greatest question is not just whether we are alone, but whether we have ever truly been first.